It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. We know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 375. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And
Take three.
This is Tom O'Keefe. So we are a podcast movement this week, and we've been having a great time and learning lots of things.
Oh my God, I'm so pumped.
But so this episode has just been f***ing cursed.
Yeah.
There's no so
I'm knocking on the fake wood.
So we set up this thing where there were people here with these really nice portable podcast studios where you could go in and record and they'll give you the files. And we're like, oh, we'll do that. We did it last time and it worked great. Well, last time you gave them a thumb drive and they gave it back to you. This time they're like, we will send you the files. Well, it's been like 12 hours and we still don't have the files.
Clearly, they do not know how to operate under just-in-time recording. So
we were like, okay, well, now we've got to re-record the whole episode.
So we just recorded the whole episode.
So we just recorded, I'd say, the first 30% of an episode. And then I realized that I hadn't actually hit record on our little portable recorder.
Yep.
And so now we're doing this for the third time.
Welcome to our lives on the road.
Yes. So here's the fun thing. If you listen to this episode and it sucks, the takeaway here is that doing it more does not help us get better. So
we broke all the rules too. We were supposed to talk first about what was in this episode, and we messed that up too, Tom.
We did mess it up. So let's talk about what's in this episode.
Okay, in this episode, we are going to talk about we're going to do a breakdown of the earnings call report. We're going to talk about what's coming up, what Peloton's excited about, the financials. And we are going to talk about Peloton offering equipment removal, launching Just Guidance. We are going to talk about Kindle being available. I'm sorry, let me try again. Amazon Kindle being available on Peloton equipment. We are going to talk about Peloton launching the wellness marketplace, beta testing that they are asking for help with. We are going to talk about London Pace Targets event. We also have a great interview with Katie Powell. And she is the admin of the House of Savagery. She is also the lead for the House of Savagery Power Zone team and the Peloton team. She has lost 57 pounds over 2 years. It has completely changed. Peloton has completely changed her life, not specifically the weight loss. And she has quite a journey to share with all of you. We are also going to be talking about details of the next Lululemon members weekend, what's going on with Mariana Fernandez, Susie Chan, Camila Ramon, and Benny Adami, Emma Lovewell. We also have the latest artist series, past guest updates, Mandy Rose, Sarah Confino. We also have a bunch of content to share with you in case you missed it, birthdays, and I think that's all.
Okay, well, before we get to all that shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, iHeart. Well, not Google because they stopped doing podcasts. iHeart. Wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. It's super helpful, and we really appreciate it when you do. You can find us on Patreon if you want to help the show. Patreon.com/theclipout. $5 a month. It gets you all sorts of bonus content, which you may or may not get this week. If we get the episode early, you get it early, which I assure you
it will not be early.
I don't even know if the regular episode will be on time, let alone early. And then, of course, you get ad-free episodes. So anyway, you can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/theclipout. Great way to stay up to date on things throughout the week. And then, of course, sign up for our newsletter at theclipout.com. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton stock ticker.
So they just held the earnings call that we listened to intently. And by we, I mean You.
Yes, it is amazing how fast your eyes glaze over and you
baby Jesus.
You go to sleep over there mentally.
They are so boring.
I know.
It doesn't matter how exciting of information they have to tell you, how dramatic it might be.
Listen, this is every meeting in corporate America.
I can't do it, man. It's like 7 dead bodies were found in the break room. Peloton. Impact for long-term projections for Q2 appear to be minimal. It's so boring. It's so boring.
Well.
But I'm sure I doubt. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that their interim CEOs are not listeners.
I would say that is true.
But if they are right now, I'm sure they're sitting and be like, "You want to compare paychecks, bitch?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. What an excellent point.
Yeah.
Well, let's dig in here a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So first things first, they do not have a new CEO yet, but they did indicate that candidate pool is narrowing down. They do not have speculation on dates of when that will be announced, but I get the impression the fact that they're talking about that it's narrowing and that they're going to be sharing it with us means that it definitely will happen in the next quarter, or they expect it to happen in the next quarter. What do you want to bet? They're like going to announce it next week, and they're trying to make it sound like they don't know. Also, big things that are coming up. I think the biggest thing is they are excited about the fact that they refinanced that debt. Now, I know we've talked that to death, but it kind of boils down to $200 million decrease in debt. And now the maturity of the debt is in 2029. And it's much more favorable terms, according to them. The other really big thing that they focused on is that free cash flow and adjusted EBITDA have now been positive 2 quarters in a row, which has not occurred in 3 years.
Okay.
So that's the first time that's happened in 3 years. They are also very excited about their innovative roadmap, which they mentioned includes software and hardware. Now, they talk a lot about software. They did not talk about what that hardware is, although a little birdie has shared with me that one of those things is version 3 of the bike, which we will circle back around to later. However, the innovative roadmap that they did share was that social... Okay, do you remember how they did Find My Friends that they released a few weeks ago? Months ago. I don't know. It all runs together. But when they released that, they said it was going to be easier for you to connect to people. Well, now they are going to be releasing very soon, probably tomorrow. I just know it happens really fast after they say that. Private groups and challenges. So you're going to be able to use right within the Peloton world, which is big because we've been hearing rumors of that for 5 years now. They also talked about that there are personalized plans that they are going to be rolling out, Strength Plus and games, social games on the bike, very like a Zwift competitor that, again, we've been hearing about for years.
Right.
So these things, they are all talking about rolling out either in beta. So the personalized plan, Strength Plus, and the social games are all things that they are very much doing in beta right now. So those will probably be released fairly soon. And then the rest of it, I don't know exactly when that's going to come out. In addition to all of those things, they also talked about the fact that guest instructors have been wildly popular. They referred to Irene Kamer, who returned to Peloton after having a baby and like going off and basically kind of like starting her life in a different way, going a different way, coming back to Peloton as a guest instructor. They also mentioned Christian Vandevelde. Both of those have been very, very popular, and they expect to lean into that. We know this week they also had
Nick Mead.
Nick Mead, yes, the brand new gold medalist, and he shared the class stage with Alex Kay, and that I know went well. They did not mention that today, but this is all focused on the last quarter, right? So it will be next quarter. Maybe they talk about that. 3 new entertainment options. So we know that Amazon Kindle is returning to the bike after a beta test and an exit. We also have AMC Plus and DirecTV all hit. In addition to all of these things, which I think are all very positive, they also talked about the fact that they expect hardware sales to continue to decline, not increase. Now, they did say that the first quarter of the year is always lower. So yes, that's going to be a thing.
Right.
But they think that it's a lot of what happened through COVID of pulling those members forward is still affecting them.
People who would have purchased a bike over the next 3 years pulled the trigger way early because of COVID. And so they gobbled up people sooner than they would have normally.
Yes. And I find it interesting that they are not going to be doing the rental option on the bike. I think that really, shows there are several signals showing that Peloton is kind of just phasing out the original bike.
Right.
One of those things is the fact that you can no longer rent the bike. You can still rent the Bike Plus. Another thing, when they just started this new remove your equipment option, it's only for some members in the tri-state area.
Tri-state area of like the New York region.
Yes. They can also only do that if they buy new equipment, and the list of new equipment only doesn't list the bike.
Right.
It lists every other piece of equipment. So they'll take away old equipment if you buy new equipment, except for the bike. And yeah, I get that there's less refurbished bikes, and that's clearly where these rentals come from, is their refurbished bike. They even talk about that to one of the answers that they had. But I think that it also shows they're not making more of these.
Yeah, it seems like they are intentionally letting that original bike supply deplete.
And I want to be very clear. That does not mean they are not going to support the original bike. A lot of people read our article and assumed that we were also saying they're going to not support it. They're going to turn off the tablet. You're going to be forced to buy a higher model. There's no indication of that at this time. None.
I mean, look, it's technology. There's a life cycle on all of it. Will at some point that cease to function? Sure.
It will.
Do I think that's in the immediate future? Absolutely not.
No.
But I think that in a year you'll be able to buy the original bike? I'm not so sure.
That I agree with.
Yeah.
I agree with that very much. They also talked about that the tread is the most underdeveloped market, that it is the highest growth lever potential. And they said that the highest net promoter score that they have is on the Tread Plus.
Yeah.
And they said that they are really focused on continuing to be more effective and efficient in their marketing, specifically towards men, strength products, and the Latinx population. I infer from that we will continue to see an increase in Spanish language production of classes. I also infer from that there is a possibility of at least one additional Spanish-speaking instructor.
Do you think, and I know that this is not a good time for expansion, but do you think that means they're looking at expanding into a Spanish language market like
Absolutely.
Spain or Mexico?
I think yes, but I don't know that I agree that I don't think that that is happening right now.
Yeah.
I think that one thing that Barry talked about in every call that they had is being super careful about their growth. And I still heard that today, that they are being very, very intentional with the decisions that they are making when it comes to how they're going to grow and where they're spending their money. So yes, I think that will occur. But for now, I think that they're going to focus on the existing population that already lives in the areas that their markets exist in.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Is that everything from the earnings
I think
call?
it is.
We hit that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah. It's like, I also am like, did she talk about that? Or which time did she talk about that?
I know.
Yeah.
You said some things and I was like, yeah, but oh no.
You went into like seeing what we're like off the air. I just told you this. I'm like, yeah, but we're pretending like it's new. Oh yeah.
Peloton in the news.
So we talked about the equipment removal briefly during the earnings call portion, but we'll hit that again real quick here. So this is available in the tri-state area if you buy a new piece of equipment.
Except for the bike. And of course the guide.
And the guide.
The guide doesn't include, they do not call that equipment.
Right.
Unless you're getting the membership. That's different.
Right. But like you don't need someone to deliver that to your home.
You do not.
So don't think you're being crafty.
No.
I bought a water bottle. come take my Stairmaster.
They're not going to do it. Not going to do it.
But
and
yeah.
And we're kind of hopeful over on the Clip Out team that maybe this is only in the tri-state area because they're trying it out.
It's like a pilot program.
Yeah.
And if it goes well, you'll see an expansion. I wonder what they're going to do with all that old equipment.
Maybe they're going to sell it.
I can't imagine Peloton would sell non-Peloton equipment.
No, that's fair. I also think that this is a good time to talk about the brand new third market fee that they also dropped.
Yes.
Which we didn't do the first time we recorded.
We did not.
So this is good. Yeah. So just before the earnings call started, we got a press release from Peloton saying that they are now charging $95 fee
like to activate
a third-party purchase piece of equipment.
So if you buy a bike on Facebook Marketplace, when you get it home, if you want it to work, you have to render unto Caesar.
You do.
Caesar being Peloton.
I will say, I specifically asked Peloton, will it work without that $95 activation fee? No response yet. This all happened in the last hour and a half. So maybe we'll still get an answer. At the moment, we do not know. I suspect it's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, because if it would work without the $95 fee,
why would you ever pay the fee?
Who would ever pay it? So basically, if you go buy a bike on the secondary, if you don't want to give Peloton $100, you bought a brick.
You did. I believe that is the case. I don't know that for a fact yet, but I do believe that. I would also like to say you get a discount on all kinds of accessories though too. So you get accessories on shoes, you get accessories on any kind of accessories like, I don't know, yoga bricks and things like that, that would go with the piece of equipment that you bought.
And if you're buying a bike on the secondary,
shoes, you know, shoes are a big thing.
Like the chance of that person having the same shoe size as you is unlikely. Also, do you want to share shoes?
It depends on how long the person had it. I mean, honestly, bike shoes are very different than the shoes like bowling shoes or running shoes. I would never wear somebody's running shoes because our feet are different. They're going to wear it differently. Yeah. But a biking shoe, keep in mind, you're not putting the same pressure on it. You're not walking around in that in the same way. So it is very different. But I'm not saying that these shoes are used whenever you buy them. And I don't want people to get that confused. I know that was not your question, but I don't want people to misunderstand that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty cool because that becomes gross margin, incremental gross margin for Peloton to get in on that piece of the pie. And there are a lot of these little marketing companies that are all of a sudden like popping up that they sound very suspicious to me. And they may be great, but I just don't understand how they're giving you a year warranty on something they don't own.
Right.
And they can't even like, I don't know. It just sounds very suspect to me. So I think it's smart because Peloton is also marketing this as a way to get like, let's say you buy that bike. Well, now you can get a custom video fit over the Zoom with Peloton. They can tell you how to get on your bike and make it fit really well for you. That's something they have not been doing. And
I thought that was interesting that they'll offer that if you buy it on the secondary, but not if you buy it a new one from them.
Well, probably because you don't have to pay a $95 fee. And they're probably trying to increase the value of the $95 fee.
I get that, but I would be like, so if I buy a full price bike from you
can
directly,
go to any store and do a bike fitting. Okay. Although there's not as many stores.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's
so
fair.
Yeah,
that's
like
fair.
so what, we could drive to Chicago?
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. They also are doing they're doing virtual fittings and they will show you how to use the bike if you need help with that or whatever piece of equipment that you are purchasing.
Maybe they'll teach people how to clip in and out so they don't go to the OPP and
I can't. I'm stuck on my bike. Yeah. Too funny.
Yeah. I think they should just refuse to remove echelon equipment on general principle.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like no.
Like no, you stare and look at what you did.
Yeah.
That's I
want you to see how similar every aspect of ours is to theirs. That's because they took everything we did and copied it shamelessly. Enjoy.
Be like training a puppy. They should rub their nose in it.
You don't do that to puppies anymore.
Oh, well, I know.
That's not allowed.
We
did not do that with our puppy.
We did it with our children.
You might have. I never did.
Well, they have not soiled themselves in close to 2 decades.
Close to.
So you can't argue with success.
I suppose that is true.
So Just Guidance launched this week.
It did.
Without much guidance.
Correct.
but we're starting to get a little bit of a handle on what exactly this new feature is.
Yeah, so you can use it as a just class, like just workout. You could do it like that, or you can do it while you're doing something like a Netflix. And the difference appears to be that when you're doing a just workout, with the way it's always been is like you go in and you go as fast as you want or as slow as you want, as much incline as you want. It's all you. You can still do that.
Right.
But you can also choose to follow a program. I liken it to the old school treadmills. You get on it and it would be like, do you want to do fat burn? Do you want to do hills? Do you want to do, it's like that. So it gives you some method to follow. But instead of having an instructor up there telling you anything, what's going to happen is when it's time for you to change gear, if you will, it's going to have a chime that sounds.
Okay.
And also you're going to see a visual cue on your screen. It's going to show you that you need to change it, which means that if you are doing something like watching Netflix or perhaps you're reading your Kindle book, you're going to have something that tells you, oh, I need to work a little harder now or go a little easier now. And so you don't have to, quote unquote, think too much about that. So I think that there is a definite market for this, and I think a lot of people will really like it. Not everyone wants to be told what to do, but they did say in the earnings call, instructor-led content is still their bread and butter, always first and foremost.
And I think it always will be.
I agree.
That's ultimately what separates them from everything else. And it's I do think by and large is what people want. But there's certainly people out there that that don't want it, or they don't want it all the time.
Yeah.
I also could see this sort of content really being effective for like couples who share the bike, right? And you have one person that loves the instructors and the other one that just wants to get on the treadmill and they don't care about any of that stuff.
Totally.
And so it's like, I'll read a book and walk for an hour, but they don't want to necessarily get all the hype show.
It allows people to use it as a traditional piece of gym equipment,
right? For
people that want to.
Yeah.
And it's nice because that's just one more way that Peloton meets you where you are.
Absolutely. Peloton launched a wellness market this week.
They did. So in their apparel store, they have now started a section that is Peloton Wellness Essentials. And they kind of break it down a little bit. So you've got your prep, your power, and your recovery. Prep is things like hair ties, and power is things like bands that you can use while you're doing your workout. And recovery are things that you can use after your workout, like Hyper Ice. I thought this was super interesting, though, because Hyper Ice is been on the website for a long time. And I'm sure it's some kind of affiliate marketing type of thing, or it's like products we love. That's how they kind of said it before. Products we love. And now it's being rebranded. I also wanted to mention, I thought this was pretty cool. There is a member created item that they have added. And it is called the Gus Grip. We have actually, I don't know if we ever interviewed Jen D'Angelo, but I know we talked to her about Gus Grip, and it's like bike handlebar covers that give you comfort, and it's like cushioned. Now, it is not for me. I am not a good user of this because just like I hate towels under my hand, I don't care for the grip, but a lot of people do. They need it for the softness underneath their hands. So I thought that was interesting. They added that there. And
what a coup for them.
Yeah,
to get featured on the Peloton site like that.
Absolutely. And it just goes to show whenever you have good relationships with Peloton and a good product, that can happen. I am hopeful, as one of our very frequent guests that shows up on the show, I don't want to mention their name in case they do not want to be part of this, did suggest that maybe they'll start moving into things like ice baths and stuff like that for recovery, larger items that you could get through Peloton. That would be very cool. And I agree. That would be very cool. I'd love to see that.
So we want to back up real quick right here because we just got a text.
Yes.
From Peloton.
Yes.
Answering the question, if you buy a bike on the secondary and you don't give them $95, will your bike be a brick?
And what I was told is there will be sample classes that will be available and the Just Workout feature. So those are the things that will work on pieces of equipment that you buy off the secondary market and do not use the $95 feature. So not quite a brick, but definitely not being able to access the things that you would normally think of as Peloton.
Yes. Although I do think it's actually gracious of them that the just workout feature.
Yeah, because you can still get the metrics.
So like you're not going to access the Peloton IP.
Yeah.
But if you don't care about that and you just bought a bike, just use just workout and you're fine.
Yeah.
So that's better than I would have thought.
I would completely agree.
So Peloton is doing some beta testing and they would like people from the community to help them out.
Yeah, there are 3 different concepts that Peloton is working on. And so one of the things I just have to say that I thought this was kind of interesting is they did not just solicit feedback from members. In a Peloton first, to my knowledge, they asked non-members for feedback on these concepts.
Well, that's fascinating. And
they posted it on LinkedIn, which again, to my knowledge, they have never done. Like they said, they put a press release out there on LinkedIn, but then they also said, hey, non-members, we want to hear from you too. So try out these beta features and let us know what you think. So they are saying, Peloton is saying they are developing programs that are focused on 3 things: personalization, expanded strength workouts, and gaming-inspired exercise options. Now, they kind of talked a little bit about this today on the earnings call as well. Personalized plans are going to be able to help you if you get on whatever piece of equipment and you have no idea what to do. It's going to combine personal training expertise with machine learning to craft a weekly class schedule for you. So you can start with things like get stronger or support weight loss goals or weight goals, not weight loss. They specifically called out weight goals because you could be a person who's trying to gain weight. Yeah. You could be a person who's trying to lose. And I want to be specific about that because Peloton has been consistent since day one, never to focus on weight loss.
They absolutely have. Yes.
And you can then see your plan unfold on the app, Bike Plus, Tread Plus, and the Row. Then you have the Peloton Strength Plus app because everything has a plus, right? So they are
everything has a plus. Nothing has a plus.
Okay, that's fair. Strength classes, Peloton has been saying for a very long time, they are huge growth potential on Peloton. So they are continuing to lean into that, and they have started this Peloton Strength Plus app. It is designed specifically for gym goers, but it has instructor-led programs. It has audio guidance and, exciting, a custom workout generator. It is a standalone app for iOS users, and it will help you take your strength workouts to the next level. Why is this so fascinating to me? Because if we go back to when I said those weight benches were out there in all of those instructor videos for a reason, and everyone just said it's just for the gym, and I said it's more, here is where it's more. Yeah. They always had this. This was always the plan. And they need to have more, and they need to have more with strength because that is where the entire fitness area is going. And it needs to be, especially for women, but I'll get off my soapbox. Then you have gaming-inspired workouts. Obviously, they have lane break and people love it, but they are now dipping their toe into immersive cycling experience. So you can go through virtual landscapes with your personalized avatar. You can be solo or you can ride along with other riders. This is going to be super cool, especially when you pair it up with those social groups that they were talking about. I was just
thinking the same thing.
How fun would it be to have a clip out ride and we're all riding together? Yeah. How fun would that be?
It'd be like a jib jab video.
Yeah, it would. It totally would. But this is the first time Peloton has done this. This is clearly their Zwift, counterpoint.
Right.
We have heard all 3 of these things be talked about for a long time. So it is really exciting to see it come to fruition in this matter. So.
We had a listener give us a quick overview of the PSL Pace Target events.
We do. So Ollie Long, he was telling us about the event. He went to it. He said there were about a dozen people that were allowed to be there. They did like a demo of the product itself. Mm-hmm. And they talked about use cases where it would be helpful for people to use. Like, let's say that you have an injury and you need to dial back on your training. Maybe you're starting to dial up on your training and you've been at one level and you want to kind of progress to the next one. Showed people how to do that as well. And of course, the people there got to meet Susie Chan, which if you haven't gotten to meet her before, any instructor, you get any interaction with them. It's so exciting. Right. And Susie's just amazing. So we really appreciate that Ollie Long sent that to us. So thank you.
Peloton had a partial outage this week.
They did, and it was specific to the app, which now that I know about some of the things they're doing to the app, I kind of wonder if it might have, some of these beta tests might have kicked them offline. But at any rate, there was an app outage. It's been in and out. It's not affecting everyone. It's not across the board, and it's not in all areas, but it has been in and out for people for the last 24 hours. So hopefully that will be 100% cleared up very soon.
You've also been having trouble.
Yeah, for months now. But this is so apparently the Chrome browser, members.onepeloton.com, has been something I've used forever because whenever I'm looking at the schedule, it's so much more convenient to do it while I'm on my laptop or whenever I want to do something like a yoga class. And especially if we're on the go, like at a hotel, I've used this for years. Well, Chrome stopped being able to respond to it. So if I went to this website and I was in Chrome, it would not respond to me. And now I am hearing that it is not able to be used on any kind of browser at this point.
So weird.
It is weird. I don't know if that's just because now you can access it on the app and that's where most people go to it, because originally I was an Android person and I didn't have that option.
Right.
And so that's one of the reasons I got in such a habit of checking on my laptop. But now that is not a problem, not only for me, but the Android app has become so much more robust than it used to be. So I think a lot of people may not be using it. I don't know if it's that and they're just kind of phasing it out, or if it was related to the app issue. I don't know, but people could no longer get to that website on any browsers that we were experiencing within the Clip Out team yesterday.
We have details on the next Lululemon Members Weekend.
We do. It is scheduled for September 13th and 14th. Just like before, you have to be a Lululemon member. You have to be on their little mailing list to get invited. Mm-hmm. And they dropped all the classes. So on the 19th, they did a special pre-sign up. And then on the 20th, they did one that was kind of released to everybody for all of the classes on the 20th. And that there are a ton of classes that are going to be included. Classes are priced anywhere from $35 to $50, depending on the event. There are meet and greets with Peloton instructors. There is also the priority pass is what I talked about the valued members the higher valued members were able to get early access to it. They had 3 ambassador events that they were planning on Friday the 13th. Each of those is priced at $50. They're going to be instructor-led classes. Chelsea Jackson Roberts, Kelly Gullickson, and Eric Yeager, and Cody Rigsby. And Tunde will also be there to lead a 30-minute cycling class. That one is available for $35. Now on Saturday, they're going to have a group run that's led by Eric, and that's going to be at Manhattan West Plaza. That's a $50 item. Alex Toussaint will be leading a 30-minute cycling class for $35. And then there's going to be a big wrap-up party at PSNY from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., and that is $50 as well. Lots of HRI vibes coming from the event in June.
For sure.
I think we can expect that again. So I know that one of our tipsters, Trish, is definitely going, and she went last time, and she loved it. And I can't wait to hear her coverage again.
Coming up after this, we're going to talk about instructors in the news. We will let you know who's your latest official tread instructor. So stick around.
Instructors in the news.
Great news for Mariana Fernandez. She is now officially a regular tread instructor.
I'm so excited about this. I love Mariana Fernandez, and she has been teaching tread classes for a while, but there's been no set schedule.
Yeah.
And as everybody that listens to this podcast, I think knows, every September we see a huge change in the schedule. There's always a big shift.
Yeah.
And one of the big changes is that Mariana Fernandez has a spot on the schedule every week. And I'm going to think of it as our running date. She won't be running with me, but I will be running with her. And I'm so excited about it. Congrats to Mariana.
Susie Chan has relaunched her personal website.
Yes. So with so many of these instructors, we are seeing these new websites that they are doing. Now, Susie already had one, but when she relaunched it, it includes things like her new book, It includes things like her Badwater documentary that Peloton produced. And of course, it has amazing pictures of her and all of her running journey. And her running journey, if you guys have not read her book, I'm just using this moment to push it again because it is such a good book. And it's part Susie telling stories, but it's also major inspiration to go do big things and to use things that you've never done to change your life situation whenever things aren't going your way. It's just incredibly inspiring. So congrats to Susie with her new website.
Camilla Ramone was interviewed on News 4 New York.
Yeah, and they talked a lot about how Camilla is always using the Peloton platform to bring in people from the Latin community and how she uses that to ramp up, like to prop up in a good way, people from the Latin community. And I think that's really cool because she's known for that. And I think it's nice to see that being highlighted within the news media outlet.
Absolutely.
Kind of place.
Yeah. And
I'm like, what are the words that I want to say here?
Especially when, we hear on the earnings call how they really want to double down and focus on that community.
It makes sense.
So Benny Adami had some interesting posts this week.
He did.
He had one where it made it look like he might be in the hospital.
Yeah, it was, but also it could have just been a medical test because he was in a hospital gown, which is why you think hospital.
Sure.
But number one, he posted not long after that he was elsewhere. And then the other thing is that investigator Nikki, had her magnifying glass, and she noted that it's the kind of background behind him that shows things like a cabinet where you store stuff, like maybe during an MRI. And I'm not saying he was getting an MRI. I'm just saying that's an example. So we're not so much focusing on what the medical issue is so much as we are saying, hope that he is okay.
Yeah.
Hope everything's fine. He clearly felt comfortable sharing it. And so we just want to share our love and well wishes for Benny.
And he must have been feeling a little better later in the week because he got to go to a Taylor Swift concert.
He did. And I'm super excited for him because he had posted so many times how he was desperately trying to get tickets. It was not working. Even the day before, he didn't think he was going to get in. And then next thing you know, he was at the Taylor Swift's concert. And so I don't know how he managed to make it happen, but he was very happy about it. I have to also point out, because I didn't know this when we recorded yesterday, but since we're recording again, Mariana Fernandez got a little trip to London just to go see Taylor Swift. And so she got to go too. So how cool. They weren't even together, which I thought was funny because they're both Peloton instructors and presumably at the same concert and not, although she played multiple days. So maybe
That's
not.
true.
Yeah.
And those venues are very large.
Ginormous. Yeah.
So here's a little tip if you're looking to get concert tickets from an industry insider. Just keep an eye on Ticketmaster, or if you're near the venue, going up to the box office the day of the show, especially like late afternoon. That's when either artist holds will often get released. So if the artist rolls into your town and doesn't know anybody in Des Moines, they're just going to release those tickets to the public. Another thing too is they have production kills. They'll kill seats that we might think will have obstructed views.
Can't believe you were telling people to go ask for artist holds. Oh my God.
Well, don't
Venues
ask for,
everywhere are going to come in.
Don't ask for an artist hold, but just ask if there's been any seats released.
Okay.
And so, because a lot of times there's, like I said, there's also production kills. This seat might be blocked by the soundboard or a camera or cables, and then they get it all set up and they realize that side isn't blocked and they release it for sale.
You know all this. Why did I not get tickets when Taylor Swift was here?
It's been like 10 years since Taylor Swift was here.
She was in Kansas City. We've gone to Kansas City to see other people. Why did that not happen? I'm just saying.
You can't really book a trip around hoping they'll release artist holds. So there.
All right.
So Emma Lovewell, as of this recording, she
has not said.
Yes, is still pregnant.
Yes. All this week and last week, she keeps posting things that say things like, still pregnant. And she's really excited to meet her baby, which is understandable.
Sure.
But I have to say that since yesterday, it has been dead silence over there. And so she may have had the baby and she's just off of social media enjoying that time.
Doing her, for sure. Because that seems to be the pattern that we see with the instructors when they have babies, is that they're talking, it goes dark for like 2 or 3 days, and then they pop up with a baby.
Yes. So it could very well be that by the time you get this episode or you listen to this episode, the baby is here. But yeah, it's really cute to see how excited she is, and I'm really happy for her.
Peloton artist collaboration.
So the latest artist series features San Holo.
Yes. Which, yes, if you're wondering, it is a play off of Hans Solo.
Never heard of him.
Sure. Okay, we'll go with that. Well, you've probably never heard of San Holo.
That's for damn sure.
Well,
it sounds a little dirty. I'm not going to lie.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. Well, he's a Dutch musician and producer, and he's known for his captivating ambient electronic music. He blends mindfulness and movement. There's going to be a yoga flow led by Nico on Thursday, August 22nd. And there's going to be a yoga flow that is going to be led by Aditi at 6:30 p.m. on the same day.
Well, he's also, of course, very well known for that Dr. Dre remix that was so popular.
Which I do not know, but it's called The Next Episode.
I only know that because in one of our other recordings of this episode, you mentioned it.
I did,
and now
because it has 262 million views on YouTube.
I'm trying to pretend like I know things.
Oh, sorry.
So, there we go.
All right.
Past guest update.
So we have a great update about Mandy Rose, one of our past guests.
Yes, you might recognize Mandy Rose's name because she was the amazing marathoner that helped Tunde cross the finish line at the New York City Marathon.
That story was everywhere.
It was everywhere. Good Morning America.
Access
and Hollywood. Yeah, very cool. Well, Mandy Rose finished her first 50-mile race this week. And she finished it an hour earlier than she had planned.
Yikes.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
The only time I've finished something an hour earlier than I had planned is daylight savings time.
We kind of planned that too, but that was really cool. Congrats to Mandy, and Tunde also left a very nice message for her on her post as well.
And also, not technically a past guest, but she will be on the show soon.
And she was one of our book club guests.
She was on our book club.
Yes.
And but she has not been on the show proper yet, so she's a upcoming past guest.
That's right.
There should be a word for that.
Well, I am too tired to come up with it.
I think it would just be future guest.
Okay.
So Sarah Confino mentioned this week that she is working on a new book, but there's more than just working on a new book.
Yeah. So she is working on the next one and taking the next year off from teaching to try to make writing full-time work. And if that is going to happen, the plan will be to have 2 books a year.
2 a year.
Huge congrats to Sarah Confino. Go get them. I'm so stoked for her.
I can barely read 2 books a year with the way I read. Hopefully she writes faster than I read.
I hope so.
Yeah.
For all of our sake.
New content.
Okay, let's take a look at the TCO Top 5. You guys chime in with the classes you found the most effective, inspiring, entertaining, and then we share them with the class so they can figure out what they want to do and their upcoming schedule. We will start with number 1, your favorite run.
This was taught by Susie Chan on August 10th. It was a 60-minute endurance run. Ollie Long, he's back.
Oh.
He loved this class. He said it had awesome music, an excellent run for anyone who's training for longer distances. Susie is like that friend who always encourages you to push your limits. Totally true. She's amazing.
Number 2, your favorite simulation run.
We're going back in the archives for this one. November of 2020.
Ooh.
Okay. So Bex
Is everybody wearing a mask?
No. Bex taught a 60-minute New York City marathon. That's simulation run. Nobody was in the studio. So there was, she didn't have a mask. I'm sure everybody in the production crew did. And when she was around them, I'm sure she too had a mask on.
For sure.
So this is super cool. There's a couple of these different classes out there. And Danette Royal Giles recommended this one. She said, thank goodness it hasn't been purged and we hope it never is. It was a great run to settle in and get some miles done. And Beck's story of running the 2019 marathon is so inspiring. And Bex is amazing at that. You will always feel like you're just listening to a friend chat with you. I love it.
Number 3, your favorite ride.
Yes, this was taught by Robin Arzon. This was August 14th. It was a 20-minute 80s ride. Michelle Gill Newton recommended the class. She said the playlist brought back great memories. It wasn't too challenging, so she enjoyed it, and it was a good reminder that sometimes you need a ride that's not going to make you feel worn out.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Number 4, your favorite music-themed ride. Why, whoever could the instructor be?
I know this is going to shock you, but it was Jen Sherman.
Gasp.
It was a 30-minute 80s ride that was taught on July 2nd. So I'm really confused. I don't know if we pulled in the wrong picture or what here, but the date says August 18th, so I'm a little confused. But the date in the picture says July 2nd.
Because also the picture says an 80s ride, but this is specifically referencing a yacht rock ride.
It does. Well, Beth Boomer Bivens said it was a yacht rock ride. She said it was so good. She's trying to figure out where to buy that beautiful green top she was wearing, which she is wearing in the picture. Further confusion.
Oh, Peloton closet. We miss you.
Yeah, right. And this Beth is typically a Power Zone rider, but she's all in for Jen when she does yacht rock or any music themed ride. Yeah, I don't blame you.
And finally, you're unstackable.
Yes, this was recommended by so many people. Kathleen Arthur, Trish Lalonde, Juliana Dullum, Mike Davern, and we in France. This was the 30-minute champion row with Alex Kurwaski and Nick Mead. Brand new, newly minted Olympic champion. So you had 2 Olympic champions in this class teaching. And people absolutely loved it. Nick sang Row, Row, Row Your Boat with Elmo. He got to meet Michael Phelps at the Olympics and Snoop Dogg. And the pace at the end of this row was insane.
I will say this. If I had known being an Olympic athlete could lead to meeting Elmo.
Might have done it. You might have worked out.
I might have taken T-ball more seriously.
I doubt it.
I doubt it too. But there's a chance.
People have dangled chicken nuggets in front of you.
I can get chicken nuggets on my own.
I
don't need anybody's help. Elmo didn't exist when I was a kid. It would have been Grover. That's who I would have wanted.
That's who you would have wanted.
Grover.
Okay.
Yeah. Or
Noted. Kermit, yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to meet Kermit?
Well,
I still want to meet Kermit.
Specifically Sesame Street. I know Kermit is Sesame Street originally, and then they spun him off, but yeah.
I mean, Kermit's like the greatest of all time.
Yes.
Legend.
Okay, let's take a look at this week in Peloton.
Okay.
We've got greatness runs.
We do. Yeah, these
sounds like I need an Imodium AD. Oh, I got the greatness runs.
I don't think that's what they are going for.
The chicken nuggets were a little too greasy.
I don't think that's what they are trying to do. So these are outdoor classes with Alex Toussaint, and they are classes that are aimed at helping you progress at your own pace. So you can now access these sessions on demand. So there you go.
You've got yourself a Lauren Daigle lane break because just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you don't like video games.
It can be both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Lane Break, yes, this popped up and it is on demand. You can ride, you can run or walk, and it popped up on August 21st.
And you've got UK Carnival celebrations,
which are just, these are always fun. And it's Hannah Frankson loves these, and she has been hyping it up all week on social media. But Jocelyn is also teaching classes, 20-minute Carnival celebration outdoor walk. And then Hannah Frankson is doing a 30-minute Carnival celebration ride. I'm sorry. Jocelyn is teaching both of those. Then later, Hannah Frankson is on the Saturday, the 24th, teaching another class. So,
and if you're really in the spirit of Carnival, you can do those topless.
Well, that seems awkward, but
well,
okay.
You're at home. That's presumably. I guess in today's world, with the way the app, you might be in the gym. If you're in the gym, then maybe don't do that.
Okay.
But if you're at home,
hey, knock yourself out.
Get them out.
Like, knock yourself out.
Yeah, depending on how endowed you are.
I guess.
That could occur. So, and finally, we have 60-minute Sunday restorative yoga.
We do. And this is going to be taught by Chelsea Jackson Roberts. Why do I do that every time? Every time. Yeah, she is teaching this class August 25th at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. And this is so cool because with a restorative yoga session, this is going to be completely stretched out. Like you're going to be so relaxed and unwound. Although I'm not sure it's a great way to start your day. Like I feel like that needs to be at 8:30 p.m. Either way, it'll be amazing.
In case you missed it.
Just a real quick one. We got another store closing.
Yeah, this one's in Germany, Stuttgart.
Yeah, Dorthine Quartier. What? Quartier? That sounds French.
I don't know.
They don't. The Germans don't talk that fancy.
I think we have definitely established that I will pronounce just about anything incorrectly.
Yes. At least in this case, we have the excuse that it's not our mother tongue.
That is true. At any rate, another store has been closed.
Yes.
Peloton birthdays.
So we've got 2 birthdays this week, kind of, sort of. One snuck by us, which was Charlotte Wiedenbach. On your birthday, we were so focused on celebrating your birthday that we totally missed Charlotte Wiedenbach.
Happy birthday to Charlotte.
Our apologies.
Yes.
And happy birthday. And then coming up on August 26th, it's the aforementioned Mariana Fernandez.
Happy birthday to Mariana.
And coming up after this, we got our interview of the week. We're going to talk to Katie Powell. She's going to talk about her love of Power Zone and doing one of the Power Zone pack rides in the studio. So stick around.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Catie Powell. Hey, Katie, how's it going?
Hello. Very good.
Well, we're glad to have you here today. We always like to start these interviews with kind of understanding how you came into the Peloton universe. Did you hear about it in a certain place? Like, what led you here? How did you get here?
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. I was pregnant with my youngest son, and I had moved into a house. It was COVID. We got a house. We were having a baby, and the neighbor got a Peloton bike. And she was getting all skinny, and she was getting all strong and fit, and I was being so jealous, getting, just more and more pregnant as the days went by. And when I finished and I had that baby, he was all cooked up, I decided I wanted a Peloton bike. So I immediately, the second that my doctor gave me the all clear, I ordered the bike and had it. So I had my son September of 2021, and I had my bike November of 2021.
Wow. Yeah, you did. You got right to it.
She didn't factor in shipping time, so
I know.
She could have ordered before she got the all clear.
She could have been sitting in labor ordering the bike.
Yes.
Would have been perfect. That would have been perfect timing.
Every bike comes with a free episiotomy.
Oh, darn. I missed out. I had to pay for that.
Don't worry. I'm sure they'll run that special again.
Yeah. So popular.
Okay, so besides the pregnancy, have you been a person that's been active in your lifetime? Are you like a hit and miss? I'm a hit and miss kind of person. Like I've had times where I'm really active. I've had times where I'm not. Peloton's the only thing that ever got me like active consistently. How about you?
Yeah, definitely the same. So in adulthood, I definitely chased being active a little bit more. I really liked the gym. I had a personal trainer that I just adored, and my gym had a daycare. So my oldest son, he would just sit in the daycare all day. He loved it when I would go to the gym. And I got into Beachbody for a while and liked their kind of stuff. But again, I just couldn't find the consistency. So when I did, I'm also a little asthmatic. So I feel like I've tried it all and then I give up really fast because I can't figure out the breathing, which probably is really like the biggest part of Peloton that changed things were the cues. They give you so many cues in your rides, your workouts, that I could kind of get myself to control my breathing better. And it really, I think that's really why. But yeah, so I've always chased it, but never been able to attain being fit. And I certainly was not a fit child. I was crying over the mile, walking it, taking 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was not.
I'm still
not a fit girl.
traumatized.
I know. When they would make all of us go out there, I don't know about at your school, but ours was like a black top where you had to do that stupid circle over and over and over again. And I just remember just hating it so much. And everybody else just ran it so easily is what it felt like. And I was just like, why is it so hard for me? And it's so easy for everybody else. It's awful. Awful. Yeah.
It was the worst.
It was. It really
and,
was.
there's been now, because they've been doing that forever, the presidential fitness thing, and it's had zero impact on physical fitness. Not one effect has it had. But everybody's like, but it could. We should keep doing it. And children are traumatized, but that's the only way they'll learn.
I don't think there's...
Nobody ever wants to run another mile again.
Yes.
No, and I don't think they're as hard as they used to be. I just remember everybody gathering around while you try to do a pull-up, and I would cry as I hung from the bar.
Just spending the whole mile being like, please, just second to last. If I could just be second to last, that would be great. Just not last.
Not last.
Not like, yes. It was touch and go, man. I was bad at it.
I'm really curious about when you say that you feel like Peloton has helped with cues, and you say specific to breathing, is it because they remind you to breathe? Like, do you need to be reminded? And I don't say that with any joke at all. Like, I'm dead serious. I am not making fun of you.
She's like, I'm not being Tom.
No, I'm being me. And I'm very curious because a lot of people struggle with different levels of asthma. You know, some people have just a flat out like inhaler and all the medication that goes with it. And some people just have like some function that's a little off. So I'm just curious how that works for you.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, on classes, the number one, I love to be coached through it like it's a dance class, any class, whatever it is, the constant, nonstop. Like, I love a Cody. He's going and he's going to tell you everything, and then this and then that the whole way through. So yeah, I do need to be reminded to breathe even the whole way through. But I think there's also an aspect of it that's offered in Peloton where almost everyone does teach a style that kind of has you meditating, a moving meditation all the time. So I like that. It definitely has helped me. Maybe I'm not even as asthmatic as I always thought I was as a child. I keep that inhaler nearby, but I certainly don't need the Advair powder one anymore. So maybe it was just me not breathing all that time. And now that they tell me to, I do it. I'm pretty good at listening.
That's awesome. Well, whatever the reason, I'm just fascinated by it because I did this test with this VO2 Max thing at my house, and they had like this whole system set up. And whenever I did the test, they realized that every time I was anticipating the increase, the step test going up to the next level, my heart rate went up and I started breathing faster because I was anticipating it. And so I kind of like got myself all worked up. And so it's funny, you know, how they always say on Peloton that like all this is in your head. There's so much of it that like you can push through because, you know, you need to think about it differently, that I could understand that something as simple as being told to breathe could change it. Because if you're tense and you're, you know, not thinking about it, that makes sense to me. So. All right.
Definitely softens everything when they're telling you what to do. I don't want to think about it. I want to be told what to do, and I'll just follow the instructions.
Yeah, I like that.
Same.
Yeah, that's how Tom is. He doesn't do Peloton, but he does tonal, and he's the same way. He's like,
I like tonal because they're like, do these things and then leave and never think about it again. I'm like,
that's
absolutely.
Checklist. Yeah.
That's what they do on Peloton too. I'm just saying.
But it's cardio.
I know. They do have strength classes, but anyway. Okay, so House of Savagery. Tell us about that and how you became admin of it. Like, how did you find it?
Is that the new Game of Thrones show?
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
You're in Game of Thrones? Holy cow.
We have had so many themes around Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, too, so that's really funny. But House of Savagery is awesome. So it was nothing at first. So we didn't have a House of Savagery. When I came into the Peloton community on Instagram, I started following a guy named Marcus, and he just always posted the best reels. He was the Swexy Savage, so he was always on the leaderboard. Everybody just kind of knew him around the Peloton community, and I would just bounce off my creative content ideas with him, and he gave me a lot of tips and sent me to like CapCut and all these cool softwares that I started learning because he sent them to me. And one day he just messaged me and said, hey, I'm thinking about starting a Peloton team. Would you be interested in heading it with me? And I was like, oh, heck yeah. Like, I really love a pack mentality. I love to be in charge of stuff. I like to lead a team. I like to put things together. I've got that like teacher personality. So it just made sense. It was really natural. And pretty much immediately we started a team. You know, that was really what got us going, is that we started a team for a Pelofondo event. And that was nearly 2 years ago now. And that team chat grew into an Instagram page that grew into a Facebook group that now we've got several hundred members and like 1,000 followers and a really good squad.
And so you guys do Pelofondos and Power Zone, is that correct? Or because I'm sure not everybody knows what it is, and I want to make sure we explain it to them. So do you like have different challenges you guys set up, or you follow the Pelofondo challenges? Tell us more.
Yeah, so we do a little bit of everything. So first of all, the House of Savagery is just a team of athletes. So all different modalities. There's not even just all Peloton people. Everybody does all kinds of different stuff. It's just athletes with the same common goal of, working out to savagery, getting yourself gritty, being sweaty and gross, and like loving that. But what we do as a team, we put together the Pelofondo events, which we kind of made our own thing. We always give it a theme. There was just last weekend, the most recent Pelofondo event, and we did high class trash hoedown. So we did a lot of country and classic rock, and we all dressed up, and I chugged a beer at 10 a.m. on a Friday.
I guess, right? If it's high class trash, you would dress down.
That's exactly right. We had the overalls hanging off. It was a lot of fun. And we actually kicked butt. We finished 12th out of 80 teams in the Pelofondo event this week with less than 60 riders. So it was pretty cool. But it's just continued to grow. It was like 10 of us on that first team. Now we usually have, it was like 50 last time, 60 this time. So it's just been nonstop. But outside of Pelofondo, we also run the Power Zone team. We got involved with the Power Zone Pack people and started a team because naturally people were asking, is there a team for Power Zone? A lot of the Power Zoners love Pelofondo. It's a 2-day event where they can ride as much as they want, and us endurance people love Power Zone and Pelofondo. So it was pretty natural to do that as well. And our Power Zone team is opening a ton of doors. We get newbies all the time that either come from House of Savagery and it would never touch Power Zone with a 10-foot pole, or come from Power Zone and they would have never found House of Savagery if they didn't just fall into our little nook of the internet.
That's wonderful.
Your web.
Yeah.
Or web on the web.
Okay. And then recently, I want to hear about this lottery where you guys went to the Peloton studio. I remember this happening because we talked about it on the podcast, and how all of the admins for the Power Zone, the different Power Zone teams went into the studio. But obviously, not everybody could go. So tell us about that.
Yeah, that was so awesome. So I live in Chicago. I have never been to New York. I travel to the East Coast for work, so sometimes I'm like, maybe I can sneak over there one of these days and get in a Peloton class, but it never happened for me. And in having a Power Zone team, there's a Power Zone team lead page, and I was scrolling Facebook one day, and there was a post from Angie, who runs Power Zone Pack, and she just said, I was able to secure a group ride in June, but there's only so many spots and there's a lot of you, so just go ahead and enter your name if you're interested, and you promise that you can get to New York at the end of June. So I, talked with my family, and they said, yeah, we could probably do it. Let's go ahead. And I was shocked when I got an email that said, you got it. You've got a spot. Just let me know you can come. And I talked with my family and my work, and it all worked out. So funny enough for this, as soon as I got that, I reached out to my old neighbor, the one who had gotten me into Peloton, and I told her, and she still lives fairly close to me. So she booked a trip too. We went to New York together. We went to Peloton together for the first time. So it was awesome.
Was she able to get into something while she was there?
Oh, yeah. We a bunch of the House of Savagery people actually got into classes and came out the same weekend. So we had a little mini Savage takeover at PSNY. I got into a few extra classes too. I had that dentist class, but I secured a Will Be class in the morning and a Hannah Corbin double stack the next day. So we were all over those booking sites.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
That's fun. And how about your weight loss journey? And I want to hear if you only did workouts, or if you had to change like your diet, other changes that you might have made to make the weight loss journey. It's always tough.
It definitely is. So previously I had done keto for a long time after my first child, and I lost a lot of weight, and I didn't have trouble sticking with it at all. I was able to stay low carb afterwards and not gain weight. But then I did get pregnant again, and I was really sick in the beginning. So I just couldn't eat at all. By the time I was able to eat again, I wasn't doing keto ever again for the rest of my life. I was like, oh, no, I'm eating all the pizza. So we gave up on that. But with Peloton, in May of 2022. So I had kind of given up on my bike when I moved in March of 2022. So November to March, I was all over it. And then it just sat in my garage when we moved. And then in May, something happened and I just got the itch for it. We put it back in the house. I did Discover Your Power Zones and I just fell back in love with it. I couldn't stop. Started losing weight from that and just started thinking like I should incorporate water now, and just drinking water and lost more weight. So then I'm like, maybe I should do some like protein, get some more protein in here, maybe like add a protein shake or something, and more weight came off. So now I'm at 58 pounds down in 2 years. And this last couple of months have been an increase in weight loss, where I have started adding strength work and strength training. And I feel like, I don't even have to do anything anymore. It's just coming off. I'm eating whatever I want and drinking whatever I want and still having beer on the weekends and still losing weight, still coming down. So I think it's a mix of both for sure. I definitely had to make some changes in what I was eating. But for the most part, I can still do everything I want to do. And I just continue my working out and, being a little more conscious, making sure I'm not overeating or over drinking beer on the weekends.
So you've turned into the person you've always hated, the person that can eat what they want and not only not
That's
gain
exactly
weight, but
right.
lose weight.
I was like, somebody's going to listen to this and be like, oh,
But it's worth it. It's worth it.
yeah.
The fascinating thing about strength training, as you do it longer, you'll start to see that that's where you see real changes in how your body looks, like just changing your composition. Like, we're not trying to be creepy. I know, because I've been doing tonal for a while, like what I look like at 190 when I was just not eating versus what I look like at 190 using tonal and MetPro.
Yeah. It's
totally different.
different.
I like the exact same weight on the scale, but I probably look 15, maybe 20 pounds lighter.
At least, I think
when
it's
there's
even more than
strength
that.
training in the mix.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is. Yeah. And it's
so
also
fast, too.
right. And I think it also just depends on the person. We all have different body types, and we all have, at MetPro, I am a coach that work with a lot of different clients, and there are some people that they have to be like 90% compliant with what we ask them to do to see any weight loss, 90% or above. And then there's some people that they can be 50% compliant and still see all the weight loss. And it just depends on so many factors. And it's like all we can do as human beings are control the things that we can control. We can't control how our bodies react to that. And so it can be hard to continue to move forward and stay focused whenever you're not seeing exactly what you want to see when you want to see it. So what about the other classes on the Peloton platform? Obviously, you're saying you're doing strength. I'm assuming those are on Peloton. I don't know. I guess I should have asked that.
Oh, yeah. We've got the strength. We set up a little basement set up here. So I got my husband a weight bench for Christmas this past year, which was for my husband. It's in my little area, so I love it. But I also got the tread about a year ago. So I do a lot of the tread classes, trying to learn how to run. Again, that's where I really can't breathe. So we're working with those beginner runs, but it's getting better, getting easier. And then, of course, I really want to love yoga. I'm not good at it. So we'll keep trying every once in a while. But and then the stretches, mobility classes and stretches. Oh, foam rolling. No. I can't do that, but I did try it, and I have a foam roller. So every once in a while, I'll be like, let's do a foam rolling class. How do they do? They're too much muscle, I think. You have to be really muscular to foam roll.
You're saying like to hold yourself up while you yeah. Because if you don't, it puts so much pressure on whatever it is area of your body, and it's not comfortable.
You'll be bruised.
Yeah, I know the few times that they tried to do it on tonal, I was just like, I don't like this.
Yeah, he's always like, no.
I don't. I'm fine.
He doesn't foam roll.
No.
We don't do that.
Does your husband work out or use Peloton, or does he just live vicariously through you?
Oh, he gets on there sometimes. He's much more into like doing his own thing though. So even when he does, he likes to tread better than the bike. He will go for like a scenic run. He doesn't want a guided thing. He's not super into it. But he's an ex-football player, you know, like at school days. And so he's like traumatized by like, you know, high school and college football coaches are crazy. And he's like, no, I don't want to coach. That's fine.
You
They're
should tell
so
him
much nicer at Peloton.
Plus, you should tell him if he was traumatized by sports, imagine how traumatized he'd be if he sucked at it. That was traumatic, and you were good at it.
Yeah. Well, we all have our trauma from school.
So, what is your leaderboard name?
So my leaderboard name currently is Katieology with a little underscore, and it's Katie with a C. But this was a rebrand just a few months ago. I started under Healthy Miss, like MISS Fit, Healthy Misfit, which was just my like, I don't know, Instagram handle and a lot of the apps for weight loss and stuff when I first came on. I immediately changed it though. I was like, this isn't right. This doesn't feel right. But all my branding everywhere else was Katie did. My mom always called me Katie did. So I had like Katie did photography and Katie did life was my TikTok and stuff. So I did Katie did Peloton. And something about that wasn't hitting. So I finally changed it to Katieology. And I've got to tell you, it really like changed a lot of what I was doing. I've been stuck in a rebrand since then of like how I'm waking up at 4:30 every morning. I started strength training. I lost a couple more pounds. Went to Peloton. I've gotten so many shout outs from instructors since I changed my name. I don't know. It was worth it. It was worth the rebrand. So Katieology, that's the name.
So is that's going to be the new suffix we start to see on everybody?
Everybody's going to have ology now.
Ology when they heard like, oh, she got shout outs.
I'm going to do that too.
Yes.
That's what everybody's going to say.
I will say when I went in person, Dennis did tell me that Katieology was his favorite subject.
Oh.
So you should add an ology and maybe you can get a cute little compliment like that.
You guys are practically engaged.
Yeah, at this point, yeah. I did tell my husband, you know, it got serious in New York.
Hey, it's a brave new world. There's all sorts of new relationship models out there now these days. So
no
judgment.
No judgment, and you don't have to limit yourself.
Right. I told you he was kind of into Peloton. Right.
Hilarious.
So
I guess we know the favorite instructor.
Well, it's definitely, definitely Dennis and Matt Wilpers they're just so, in my opinion, so good at making you be an athlete and not focus on the weight loss or the, you know, I think like so many of it is all weight loss and fitness industry models are almost predatory in people who want to be thin. And they're not like that at all. They're like, no, you can look however you look. It's all about how you feel. Even in person, when I met them and said, oh, I've lost all this weight, it's totally because of you guys helping me with Power Zone. They were like, yeah, but how do you feel? Like, do you feel better? Because it doesn't really matter if you lost a bunch of weight and you feel like crap.
It's true.
So it was nice to hear that and to see that. And those two are always like that. They never get into weight loss mode, I feel.
I don't think any of them do. No. I don't feel like that's ever really been part of
Peloton in general.
There are tons of people who buy Peloton because that's what they want to do. And there are certainly tons of people who have lost weight using Peloton, but I don't feel like Peloton has ever veered into the we will help you lose weight mentality. It's always,
it kind of drives me crazy over on the OPP because I feel like when there's like an influx of people, it's always like, show me all your before and afters. I want to know how much weight have you lost? How is and I'm just like, that's so not the point though. That's like so not the point.
But that's exactly what it was. That's how I was. I'm sure I was on that page asking for the same thing when I first came in.
It's the stages of Peloton. Yeah, because then you got focused on becoming an athlete, and now it's like, how much stronger can I get? How much faster can I get? And it's a completely different mindset. Not that you don't maybe still want to lose weight. Maybe that's still part of your goal and you're working on that, but it's not your only focus. And that really does change things. So That's cool.
And it makes the weight loss easier too when that's not what you're focused on, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like watching a calendar, right? When you're waiting for Christmas and you're counting down, every day takes forever. But, when you're not, you're just like, oh, yeah, it's in 2 days, right? And like it's kind of the same way with weight loss, and in terms of like when you kind of can just put it in the back of your mind, it doesn't feel like it's hanging over your head in the same way. You just go about life.
Yeah, that's true.
So do you have any advice for people just entering the world of Peloton?
So 2 things. First of all, and I reminded myself of this when I went to Peloton Studios, your butt's going to hurt. That darn seat. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. I have a big seat on mine that I changed out, which is not apparently great for you long term, but it did help me get through the beginner days.
Do what you got to do.
So don't worry about it. It's okay. Your butt will get better. But the biggest thing was to find your people. I just don't think I would have stuck around. I don't think I would have stayed in the Peloton world if I didn't find my Peloton community outside of Peloton, because I love the coaches. I love doing it alone and not having to be at the gym, and to be my kids can be right next to me while I'm working out, and everything's great. But I love having a community that cheers me on. I need somebody to tell me what to do. That was like the most confusing part when I came to Peloton, and there was not like a schedule set out for me that said, do this, this, and this. I just have to figure that out. So having the people around that helped me figure it out and navigate it was so important. So find your team, find your tribe, and don't be afraid to ask them everything, because Peloton people love to tell you everything.
And
That's so true.
And it's really important to find your little area of the internet, because if you ask those beginner questions in the OPP,
oh Lord,
they will eat you alive. So like find a group that's smaller and more welcoming
and nice,
which would be just about any group that's out there, and you won't get shamed for not immediately being a Peloton expert.
Yeah, it's so true. That is great advice. Very good advice you gave there.
Well, thank you.
I was talking to
Katie.
Katie.
You were talking to her.
Yeah.
I mean, that was okay too. Well, Katie, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we let you go, let everybody know where they can find you in all the places, because I'm assuming that you want to be found.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm on Instagram. I'm Katieology with the C and the underscore. And then, of course, House of Savagery. We're on Facebook and on Instagram. House is Haus of Savagery. The House of Savagery. So come find us on either of those. I'm at both of those places all the time and ready to annoy anyone who wants to come hang out.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
The Clip Out.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close for the 3rd time.
Well, we never got to the, okay, anyway.
Yeah. So until then, where can people find you?
Facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe, all the other socials, and the Peloton leaderboard at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert, or on Facebook at Facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at Facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group, and of course, don't forget our Patreon at Patreon.com/The Clip Out. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling
And running.
and rowing.
Bye.